Mark Carney is the complete opposite. He's very duplicitous. He's written books about his love for the carbon tax.
Duplicitous, Scheer says, we've got many more things coming up in this video. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney. We're going to be exposing Carney. Well, the Conservatives are going to in this video. We've got so many interesting pieces in this video. We're trying a quicker, smoother running format. We're going to have Melissa Lantsman, Pierre, Poilievre, Michelle Rempel, Garner. We'll get back to Andrew Scheer. And also, Premier Smith in Alberta is saying no to firearm confiscation. Let's get into this. It's going to be a fun one. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Let's go.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
We'll kick things off here with Melissa Lantsman. She has something she wants Canadians to know about. Let's look.
On a day where we found out we lost 60,000 jobs last month, 100,000 over the summer, we see the Prime Minister out on a flip-flop. In politics, we call that a Friday dump day. After voting to keep the ban on gas-powered cars, Mark Carney forced to admit that he was wrong and Conservatives were right again. Yet, he refuses to give certainty to auto workers by ending this ban for good. Everyone knows that an electric vehicle mandate is terrible for Canadian workers. It's terrible for Canadian consumers, and it's terrible for choice. Well, everyone knows that, except for Mark Carney and his Liberal government. The big,
Pretty sure Mark Carney knows. He's up to no good.
splashy flip-flop today from the Prime Minister, he's not scrapping the mandate. He's just going to pause it for a few months. Are you kidding me? Is he serious? We know that an EV mandate is going to cost us 38,000 manufacturing jobs. It's going to decimate the auto industry. It's going to destroy our economy at a time of record instability while removing the freedoms and flexibility that every Canadian should have. The main point of this whole thing ended up taking billions of dollars from Canadians and giving it to Tesla. That was the credit system in a nutshell. And the Prime Minister still can't see that it's a problem. If he knew it was a problem, he'd scrap it entirely, just like we said he should. But I guess he has to keep Stephen Guilbeault happy. Remember, he's the Environment Minister that told you he was going to quit over the carbon tax. And if he quit, this country would fall apart. He's really the only thing holding us together. And until Mark Carney says this EV mandate is gone for good, it's still government policy because Stephen Guilbeault wants it to be. In an age of uncertainty and so much uncertainty in this country, the last thing the auto industry needs is a maybe from Mark Carney. So until this thing is dead and buried, Conservatives are going to keep fighting it.
Oh, yeah. We're going to take a peek now at Pierre Poilievre. He's chiming in on this loony Mark Carney. He's a nut. What is the game plan? It's a good question.
So what's the Liberal game plan to try and save their government in the next election? Here's what it is. They're going to pretend that they've changed completely, that they've elected a new leader who's back to normal. They're going to put in someone like Mark Carney, and they'll pretend he's different because he looks different, right? He knows, unlike Justin, he knows how to comb his hair, and he wears normal navy blue socks and a nice suit, and he pretends to have had a corporate job. So they say this guy's a complete change. He's back to normal. He knows how to work a calculator. Make no mistake. This guy is just as, if not more, radical than Justin Trudeau. And today we got the proof. You'll never guess who's announced he's supporting Carney. The most crazy, self-described socialist in the government, Stephen Guilbeault, the crazy carbon tax minister. This is a guy who has been arrested twice, once for climbing on the roof of the Premier of Alberta to protest against the energy sector. The second time for climbing the CN Tower. He wants to ban road building, nuclear power, wants to shut down the forestry sector because he says that's the only way to save the caribou. He's against hydroelectric dams. And most important of all, he said he would resign from the Trudeau cabinet if there was even one more exemption from the carbon tax. He wants the carbon tax to apply on...
That was all talk, because they did make changes and he's still there.
All fossil fuel energy, and has said he would end his career if it did not go ahead. Now, this is important because it means that if Carney were not privately committing to him behind the scenes that he will keep the carbon tax, then Guilbeault would not be supporting him. Obviously, they have a carbon tax compact to keep and increase the tax because Guilbeault wants the tax to be 5, 6, 7, or 8 times higher. He wants to ban all fossil fuel jobs now. He is the most radical and fanatical of the Trudeau ministers, a guy who calls himself a socialist, and he's with Mark Carney. That's not because Carney is a normal, old-fashioned liberal. Far from it. Carney is just like Justin, just as radical. Don't be fooled. We don't need a guy who's the same as Trudeau but can comb his hair. We need a total change. Fire these guys. Bring home common sense conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime, and put Canada first. Let's bring it home.
Pretty big fan of Pierre Poilievre. He's whipping out the humor. At least he knows how to comb his hair. Come on, it's hysterical. Oh, yeah. These liberals want to control everything. Danielle Smith is putting her foot down, drawing a line in the sand, saying no to Gary Ananda Sangre's public safety initiative to confiscate firearms. Danielle Smith, let's take a look.
Currently, we have a public safety minister who wants to come and take my legally obtained firearms, in which I took a safety course for, legally purchased, but he can't define what a restricted position acquisition license is. He had to recuse himself from a terrorist organization, which is the Tamale Tigers. I will not be handing them over to the federal government because I'm not supposed to give my firearms to criminals. So I'm not going, so I can't. I can't go to the range. I can't do my sport shooting with 90% of my firearms because I became a criminal overnight with an unjust gun grab fraud. I know that Premier Smith is familiar with the homeowner in Ontario who was just charged with injuring a home intruder who had a crossbow.
You should ask her about it.
Yeah. Canadians are being charged for protecting themselves, their families, and their property, and being backed into a corner through submission by the federal government. We're being told to leave our keys beside our unlocked door, as criminals have more rights than we do. So where would the Alberta Police Force stand in relation to the legal firearm owners?
It's a great question. I'm glad we ended on that. And I'm sorry to those of you still lining up. I did say that was it. Premier, can you address those ones first, and then we'll book it?
Well, let me tell you my frame on this. So the proper use of the criminal code power is the way the feds will regulate around, for instance, vehicular homicide. Like, there are ways that you can use your car that kill people, and they look at that as a criminal penalty, and they charge you. But you know what they don't do? They don't come in and say, red cars have a disproportionate number of accidents, therefore we're going to ban red cars and confiscate them, right? They're able to see that there is one use of that particular piece of property that is criminal, and they let us regulate who gets a driver's license and who registers a car. So
this is an excellent metaphor, example, analogy that Premier Danielle Smith is using right here. This is very sharp.
I'm just going to take that analogy a little bit further. They can regulate the criminal use of firearms. They can go after the bad guys who are breaking into people's houses with crossbows. And we will then regulate the legal use of firearms so you can continue to own them, collect them, use them for sport shooting, use them for hunting, and use them for other purposes. So we're working right now on what a legislative framework for an Alberta firearms license would look like. And we're going to fight it out because property and civil rights are our jurisdiction under Section 91 of the Constitution. 91 or 92. I always get those. I think it's Section 12. I'll have to defer to my judge on that. But that is as you've seen, we have already taken action in that regard. We told the municipalities, no, you can't have a handgun ban. That is not municipal jurisdiction. We told the RCMP, no, you cannot participate in the confiscation scheme. We've told our sheriffs that. We have told municipal forces, if you want to participate in the confiscation scheme, you have to come and get a permit from the Justice Minister, and I have it on good authority. He will not say yes. There is a piece that we're missing because Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe said that any of the mail delivery services were not allowed to convey these firearms. We're going to have to change our legislation to make sure that that's not a loophole that they can use as well. We've also passed our own Firearms Act, and we will do everything we possibly can to make it as difficult as possible for anyone to get the permit that they need to participate in that program. That's our ability to do that, using our ability to regulate on professions. So in short, you'll see that us and Saskatchewan are going to do whatever we can to make sure that we're defending.
from my cold dead hands.
Firearms owners' rights, and I know we're coming up to a deadline here, so just have some patience because we know how important that is. We just have a different approach we want to take in Alberta, and I think that is what the Constitution allows, and we'll see what the courts say about it.
All right.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
The thing about a cover-up is if you get caught in the cover-up, it blows up. And that's what's happening right here. Check this out. It's very interesting.
I don't know if you saw the news story, but Elections Canada is investigating Juno News and our reporter Cian Bexley for some very thorough, well-vetted, corroborated story that he released during the election campaign, which embarrassed the Liberal government, and now they're coming after us. I'm wondering if you can comment on the story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all of the details of the story. Admittedly, it's been a busy week for me, but, particularly...
I'd highly recommend Juno News. Candace Malcolm here is great. There's many other independent journalists that work with this channel. They're great. Check them out.
For me, and all of my conservative colleagues, we believe in free speech. It's why we opposed, and you've done such a good job on this too, opposing the Liberal censorship bills, Bill C-11, C-18. I think knowing what I know about the story, the part of the bill that they're, using.
Yep, Section 91.
We oppose that, right? Conservatives did. So, we stand on free speech, and, the role of media in Canada is to hold people like me and the government to account. And, you've seen the Liberals use a variety of mechanisms over the last several years. I just mentioned two of those bills to suppress independent journalism, to suppress, we've got news bans in Canada we never had before. So, shout out to your listeners. Make sure you subscribe and get around those news bans. But we have to see a change in that. We won't have growth and innovation in Canada or government accountability if the government's, primary objective is to suppress freedom of speech. So, we're going to stand up for that and hold the Liberals to account.
I'm not sure about the history of all time, but currently the funniest guy in the House of Commons is MP Andrew Scheer from Regina, and he is lighting up both Trudeau and Carney. He's a very experienced politician with a very sharp sense of humor. Let's take a look. He's on a new channel, Conservative Journal of Canada. Let's take a peek at what he's speaking about here. It's interesting.
Mark Carney. What is your take on Mark Carney as the new Liberal leader?
Well, I'll give Justin Trudeau some credit. He really made so many things terrible in this country. He caused the inflation crisis, caused the crime wave with easy bail and taxpayer-funded narcotics. But he was honest with Canadians in a way because he was telling people that's who he was. He campaigned on a lot of radical issues. And he said he was going to bring in a carbon tax, and he did. He said that he'd undo some of the Harper Justice Era laws, and he did. The outcomes were horrific, but at least he said that he would do those things. So there's a certain level of honesty with Justin Trudeau that I have to give him some credit for. Mark Carney is the complete opposite. He's very duplicitous. He's written books about his love for the carbon tax. He wrote a book called Values, where he
read that book. I've read the book. It's terrible. It's frightening, and everything. The way that he portrays himself in front of the camera. Man, this guy had some values, but they're all negative.
Expressed his love for it. He was Justin Trudeau's senior economic advisor when he said that the carbon tax was too low. He was urging Justin Trudeau to hike it even more. And now he's trying to pretend like he was never in favor of it. And I find him very inauthentic. I think he's the type of guy that would want to see, 10 market research reports before he took a position on something. And I don't know, only time will tell which Mark Carney we're going to get, because he's kind of been all over the map on a few different issues. But one thing he's always been very, very solid on is he's always believed that government knows best. I mean, when you read his books and his speeches, he really does believe that the government should
like a dictator or a fascist. Not calling him a fascist, but like a fascist.
Society, and he doesn't trust free people to make their own decisions. That's something that colors a lot of his writing, a lot of his speeches, that, you know, people like him should run things. You know, he's a very fancy person. You know, he's hobnobbed with the rich and famous. He likes being in fancy rooms where they wear tuxedos and know which fork to use for the salad and the fish. That's his world, and he really does believe that those people should be in charge of things. Whereas conservatives say, hey, you make your own decisions. You know, you live your life the way you want to. You raise your family the way you want to. You should be able to go where you like and work in the profession that you choose. And we should have the government dictating all these things. So I expect with Carney, we're going to see a lot more top-down, Ottawa knows best approach. A great example is on this national big projects. Conservatives believe that the government shouldn't pick winners and losers. The government should create an economy where people want to build things. And let's let the market decide. Mark Carney's creating this process where the government's going to pick and choose which project goes ahead. Doesn't make any sense.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, gang, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the subscribe and like. Share this with somebody. We're trying something new. I think it's fun. Let it run and tell more than just one story in a video. Aaron, Canadian, Looney, like, share, subscribe, get notified. We cover all the live question periods, all of that. I like to put a funny video at the end of these because, you know, politics is depressing if you follow it, if you take it too seriously, although it is very serious. I make jokes. This stuff that's going on is no joke. This is happening in real time. Anyhow, this is what Mark Carney did not campaign on, but what he's been doing ever since elected, going around the world telling people things like this. He's a con man. Long con, that's it. I'm not Aaron, Canadian Looney. Catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.
As a European, I am a European, actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm Irish citizen. Yeah, so there you
welcome.
go.
Welcome.
Speaking as a European.
WTF.
Here, here. How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows.
And as the most European of the non-European countries.
Being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought
What possible
to avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Come on, Fiona.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, gang, thank you all very much for watching. Aaron, Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. Smash that subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. Canadian federal politics. Get yours right here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.